store that fat. Just have a look at that respiration. I must be honest, we've been very lucky this week in terms of lizards. We had that fantastic monitor lizard the other day, and now we have got a variable skink for you. And on that note, and the skink just got a fright there with VM standing up, we are going to say goodbye for now, and we are going to send you over to James. See you in a couple of minutes.
There's a white-bellied sunbird, everybody. Oh, that's great. Well done, Dave. They're so difficult to get because they fly around almost like bees. That's him calling. Tick, 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 tick. There he is. How cool is that? Look at his colors. And many of you ask if we have hummingbirds here. We don't have hummingbirds here. This is the evolutionary equivalent of the hummingbird. It is a white-bellied sunbird. He's probably about 6 inches long, maybe a bit bigger, maybe 8 or 9 inches long. One of the larger sunbirds. Oh, he's lovely. Listen to him calling. And he's just starting to get territorial, you see, as the spring progresses. Yeah, he's gone over the top. Well done, David, well done. That was a good one. Not easy to get that, I must say. Sounds to me like you've had the best skink sighting in the history of skink sightings, which is excellent. Now, it was said that Karula is in here somewhere. I took a walk down there. I'm afraid I found nothing. I didn't see any squirrels that were disconcerted. I did see one in Nyala who was disconcerted, but that was because I was around, not for any other reason. We'll just do one turn up the river here. Oops. David said he was a bit concerned for me because an elephant disappeared across the road while I was away, which was very nice of him to be concerned for me. Thankfully I didn't see the elephant. There's the Nyala I saw. I'll just get in line with him. You can still hear that sunbird. Chip, chip, can you even see it there, Dave?
No, I don't see him.
Let me try and get you into position. But I basically walked this little block between Leadwood Road and the middle of the Wati. There he is. You can just see him through there. Let's turn off and have a little bit of a listen to what's going on around here. Oh, and there's some babblers to the left, Dave, but I don't think you should even bother with the camera, to be honest. I think they're going to hop around and be difficult to see. Move a little bit forward. And is everyone keeping an eye on the damn cam just to see if those cats don't book out? Cat and Tambo, you say the white-bellied sunbird is number 97 for you and you want to get to 100? Well, we might be very lucky today. I'm sad we didn't get the acacia-pied barbet. I'd still love to know if somebody has the acacia-pied barbet or not. Kee, 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 kee is the call that it makes. Let's see if we can find a leopard as well while we look for the acacia-pied barbet. Oh, nectar or bug eater for the sunbird? James Dungan, you want to know. That's a question from you, put through in summary form by Kirsten, and therefore it was slightly confusing. They are both. They eat nectar. They've got exactly the same kind of arrangement that the hummingbirds do, that long bill, and they hover, and they've got a long probing tongue, but they also use that for insects, because of course in this part of the world there aren't flowers all the time, and therefore there isn't nectar all the time. There, you see it, Davy. Cat has definitely got the brown-hooded kingfisher up a bit. He's just in the thicket there, middle of your frame. he lives here. I think this brown-hooded kingfisher's got a nest here. Just over here. They nest in mud banks. The nest is somewhere around here. I'm going to try and get the bird first though, but it may have flown off. The nest, if you look in here, oh hang on. The nest, you see that hole underneath the bush here?
Yes.
That's the kind of hole that it's going to nest in. That's the brown-hooded kingfisher. Pity for you! Pity for you! So I've no doubt all of you have seen cat. It's definitely on your bird list. Anyway, so back to the sunbirds. Yes, nectar, but there isn't nectar here all the time, and so they must supplement the diet, especially during winter, because they're not migratory, with insects when they can find them. Alright, so just continue. I'm just looking under all the bushes here, into the boughs of the trees. See if there isn't a leopard draped somewhere around here. Here's the jackalberry tree I was talking about earlier when I too was in a jackalberry tree. And you can see it's got fresh leaves on it, not old ones. Let's just have a little listen while you look at the tree. And so semi-deciduous, they lose their leaves completely, sort of randomly almost, and then get them back very quickly. Ah, the sweet, sweet feeling of the northeaster coming in off the sea some distance away. Oh, that's very pretty, David, but for the aerial. There we are. Let's continue along the Mlwamati. I know Brent did come down here earlier, but it's worth just doing it again because there isn't much in the way of, well, there's no road through there. Alright, we'll try and find a heartbeat. While we do that, let's go across to Stef, who's got a number of, well, not quite heartbeats, but fairly scary life.
We do indeed, and I hope James likes what we've just found him, because this is the first community nest spider that we found active after winter. So this is an active and what seems to be relatively healthy community nest web spider, or velvet spider as they're also called out here. Right in the top of the frame, right in the top of this leaf bundle, you'll notice them flitting around in there. And what I'm going to do, can you see them, Bim, or is it they disappeared? Right, so you get them right inside of the screen, VM says. You'll get them moving. I can't see from my side where they are, but hopefully they'll come out and you'll get to see what one of these little spiders look like. While we're waiting for them to come out, just take a gaze across this web and have a look at the mass of prey that they managed to collect last year. There's bits and pieces of beetle and butterfly and it just looks like flying ant and grasshopper and cricket that I can see. And another thing that we've got, which is also quite nice, is one of those beetles that we've just found right now has been stuck in this web. Have a look here. Remember that beetle with the purple wings that we found 10 minutes ago or 15 minutes ago? Here's one that's been caught and is dead in this web. Has yet to be discovered by these. Oh, it's not even dead yet. Hey, little guy. I gave you a new lease on life. Are you gonna... Let me just take him out of this sticky. Here we go. Let's see if he opens up his wings for us and flies and gives us that fantastic purple... Let me come around this side. Gives it... Whoa, don't fly yet. Get your cameras ready, everybody, if he decides to open up his wings. Let's see, he wants to. There he goes. They're just stuck together with just too much web. Give him a high point. Come on. There he goes. There, almost wants to. Brilliant purple wings on this red body with this iridescent and very shiny elytra. So let's help him a little bit. Let's clean his elytra from some. Oh. Let's clean his elytra, not drop him on his head, I suppose, was what I was trying to do. So here he is here. There he's, one of his wings has come unfolded there. Come on. Oh, that's fantastic. Reminds me so much of those burnet moths that we get here in summertime. December, with that iridescent red and black, I think, that they have on them. Amazing how you forget these things. Come on, you're now at the top of your mountain. And if it's not an elevation thing that he needs to be high, there we go. Let's do that again. Let's just show you that again. So here we go. All gone. Isn't that amazing? So now we can come back to our spider. Saved him. I thought that he owed us another takeoff since we saved him from a certain death in the spider's web. Now, for those of you thinking that we stole some food from these spiders, that's not the case. These spiders are only now getting active again, and it's at this particular time that they need to start rebuilding this mass of web. It's only once they've started to do that they actually start to find and be able to catch all these prey. Now these spiders hunt very similar to how hyenas do. They hunt cooperatively, and by hunting cooperatively they can kill a lot bigger thing, and by killing a lot bigger things it means less effort for more energy in, and that means that more of them can survive. So this whole nest is made up of a bunch of females and adolescents who live in here and help one another, and this ball of leaves and matted web is where they live. Actually, let's see if I can coax one out here. So let's take a stick, and what I'm going to do is act like I'm stuck. Let's put the stick in here and act stuck. You can see them all rushing now to the stick. Have a look at that. There's one coming to investigate and another one from below. You see that? Have a look at that. Coming to the end of the stick. There we go. Bit it. And now they actually talk to one another through this web. They'll be able to send out a vibration that tells other spiders, look here, they're all coming now. Look there. And there is your first look at a community nest spider. Isn't that amazing? Now they've gone to tell one another that it was just a stick, teasing them by some moron like I am at the moment. So, so sorry spiders. Anyway, we're going to send you up to James now, who has got an update for you. Thinking?
I came up here because it is a perfect little castle of clay built by Macrotermes natalensis, the fungus-growing termite. Also because this is a favorite sort of path of Karulas to walk along the top of the bank here. And as we discovered when we were following Mvula during Big Cat Week last, it was in February, we discovered that the leopards very seldom actually walk along the drainage like this. They will walk sort of through the bushes on the top. And so it's always a good idea to just pop your heads over the top. But isn't that a wonderful castle there? And it is still active, and when there's a little bit of moisture you'll find that it will become bigger. Here we go, David. I'm going to descend with a great speed. like watching a man half my age, wasn't it? Okay, on we go. Not massively successful on the heartbeat front at the moment, everyone. But that's okay. You'll find other pretty things to show you, like that castle. No, Rusty. That's it. On we go. I'm going to drive a little bit faster, cover a bit more ground before the sun doth set. Speedboat, David, you could ski behind this. It'd be quite fun, that, actually. Now, I believe that there is only Impala going on at the Djuma Dam Pan. Ah, Velma, you were here recently. Hello, and thank you for watching again. I'm very glad that your visit here hasn't put you off us completely. You want to know if the orchid that I planted in the knobthorn tree next to the Djuma Dam Pan ever actually grew. Velma, unfortunately, the orchid did not grow on account of the fact that it was thieved by some squirrels. Some squirrels had at it, ate it to pieces. I don't want to go up this road, hang on a second. They took all the seed out of the sort of pod that I planted there, and so no, it didn't grow. David the aerial has taken a rest behind you. So unfortunately not, and I have yet to find sort of a reliable method of instruction for how to plant and maintain a leopard orchid and Celia gigantea. So Velma, thank you for remembering that, but unfortunately the squirrels put paid to my gardening attempts at the Djuma Dam. I was hoping to have very beautiful, sweet smelling yellow flowers with brown spots at Christmas time last year, but alas, all we had was the droughtish heat. You weren't with us yet, were you, David? No. It was an amusing time, Christmas here. Now, all the elephant tracks are going the other way, which is very disconcerting, but what we're going to do is make our way slowly back towards the water of Djuma Dam and a Galago Pan, because I cannot believe that there's nothing going to go and have a drink fairly soon. And we did go past the Galago Pan at the very beginning of the drive before we even started, and there were a whole lot of beefaloes there, but they were not looking particularly disturbed by life. Oh, hello Alice, you say you've been watching the show for a week from London and you say you're obsessed. Well, I'm not sure obsession's a very good thing, but I'm very pleased with your enthusiasm for our show. It's lovely to have you with us, and thank you for asking us a question all the way from London. Here are some nyalas. And Alice, you want to know about the drought and if there is a record for the longest drought. I don't think this is the longest drought, Alice. It's certainly, however, here are the nyalas, young bulls. It certainly was the driest season on record since 1904. And that was last year. That was the driest rainy season. But you see, a drought, of course, is an extended period without rain. So were we to go into the next season and not have any rain, I think then it would quite comfortably be the longest drought we'd ever had. But I don't think we're quite there yet. It was the driest, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, the hottest year on record since 1904. That was last year in summer. And boy, did we feel it. I can remember never resenting the summer before, and I've lived in the Lowveld for many, many years. And last year I resented it, because normally what happens is it gets very hot, and then round about this time of the day you see these massive storm clouds building, and even if they don't dump on you, they just kind of fill your spirit with expectation and joy at the thought of rain. But that didn't happen last year. The sun rose, turned white, 5 minutes after it came up over the horizon and remained white until it set, blisteringly hot still, all the way to midnight. But we're led to believe this year, Alice, that La Nina is going to be dumping quite a lot of rain on us. David, what are you laughing at? David, you must always attempt to pronounce foreign languages in, in the relevant accent. So you can't say La Nina. You've got to say it like a Mexican drug lord. La Nina. There we go, browsing on the last copper leaves. So there's obviously quite a lot of nutrition in the dry leaves. He's taking some dry and fresh there. And I don't think he looks like he's in bad condition at all. Looks fine. Look at the markings all over his face. You'll read various theories as to why they have those markings. Most of them I believe to be absolute cods. I think it's far more likely that any marking that he has is to save him from predation. And perhaps those white chevrons under the eyes there that you can see, those might be an aid to reflect light into his eyes during the darkness. Some people have tried to tell me that it's light, or tried to reflect light into the eyes because they live in thick bush, but I've been in the thickest bush imaginable around here, and I've never been blinded by the darkness. Wondering why they have them are outlandish, born of people with too much time on their hands, David. Yes. What is it? How does the saying go? Idle hands make? I've forgotten. It's because we're so busy. Very beautiful antelope, by far my favourite here. Idle minds make mischief for the devil, says Kirsten. Well, she is red-headed and so intimately acquainted, of course, with the devil. Idle hands make idle mans. I'm confused. That's all I heard there. It's very confusing. She's from Natal, you see, and so she doesn't really speak a version of English that the rest of us can understand. I'm going to be in beastly trouble when I get home. All we're getting now, Kirsten, I'm afraid, is loud static, and that isn't your fault. Unless, of course, your voice has changed in anger, and it's now going when you... That really was a very gentle, beautiful... sighting. Now there are monkeys at the Djuma Dam pan. Wonder if they're being stalked by little lion cubs. Maybe. I'm going to make my way around there regardless, because I've got a feeling in my bones that something's going to happen there. My aging bones, David. As we go into the summer of 2016. It's my 40th summer, David. 40 times have I experienced the summer.
How does this one compare?
It's not quite as good as the summer of 1977, but it's not bad. I always felt so sorry for people who had their birthdays in the winter time, so the June and July babies. Because we could never have a party with, and a swimming party, you see, David. But I suppose that's opposite if you're in the northern hemisphere. Right, now this is a roundabout again where Rexon and I thought the lions were going to be this morning. They are not there now. They were not here earlier. And indeed the buffalo that I thought they were going to eat seem to have absconded as well. Let's see what we can find down in the drainage here, or indeed anywhere. Just going to have a little bit of a listen when we get to the top here. See if we can't hear some alarming. Let's see if we can hear some alarming, David. It's quite quiet, isn't it? Not a lot of alarming at all. You feeling peckish yet, David? You are feeling a little peckish, are you? Right, well, let me rectify that situation. We've tried just about all the bark of the elephant so far, but we have not tried Combretum collinum. I think we had some Combretum, some red bush willow the other day, but collinum we have not had. So fear not, David. I'm going to feed you. I know you're a hungry lad, growing boy. You're not old like me, you see. Yes. I'm going to give it to you mainly because I don't know what it tastes like, and I want you to try it first.
Are you not going to have some with me?
No, I'm absolutely not. Well, I am once I've seen your facial expression. Beautiful colour. There you are. And that particular branch you may have seen is has been chewed by an elephant, probably a little elephant that was too small to break it off, and so he's just stood there and kind of not good. Really horrible.
Terrible.
He put the whole thing in his mouth, you see. Silly fellow. Yeah, no, it's foul. Just like its cousin, the red bush willow. Disgusting. Oh well, at least we know. We still have a few more to taste, but that was a good experiment there. So the little elephant would have just eaten there. If you don't mind just going back onto the bit that's been chewed. To the left, there you are. Little elephant would have come and stood and eaten that while his mother destroyed the rest of the plant, and then they would have headed off together, possibly towards the Djuma Dam pan. I'm deeply confused. All I can hear is Louise counting Stef out of a bushwalk. Hello? Final control. What has happened? Please get hold of the Russian and give him a beating. Alright, on we go. I knew it! There are elephants at the pan, the same ones that ate that tree, David, definitely, without doubt. Hold on, everyone. I want to go and see them, because I think something else is going to pitch up there too. Just getting to that time of the day when the lions might think, oh, we're a little bit thirsty, I think we'll go out and have a drink before we go marauding tonight. Careful, David. Are you alright?
Yes.
Hold on tight, everyone. Kudu, we're going to leave for now. Round the corner, drop a gear, rev the engine. Woo! It's extreme, David, it's extreme. Yeah, nearly there. I can see the dust being raised by the elephant herd. Hello, Jarek. you're a new viewer and it's lovely to have you with us, and you want to know how it is that we can see what you're saying on the chat. Well, Jarek, when you join Wild Earth, you've seen The Matrix, have you? You've seen that film The Matrix with Keanu Reeves in it? Basically what happens is that they implant a chip in the base of your skull here, or it's just under here, and this wire basically plugs me into the internet and it feeds into my brain, and so I'm able to load, well, various things from the internet, whatever I like. I can look at Facebook if I like while I'm driving around here, but at the moment I've got the feed loaded so I can see the comments coming through. Derek, I'm talking absolute rubbish. Of course, we have got a room full of highly competent people, currently peopled by Louise and Kirsten, and Louise and Kirsten have got feeds, hundreds of them just about. Oh, it's our favourite little half-trunk herd, everyone. Let's go a little bit faster. And Jarek, what they do is they monitor the YouTube feed, they monitor Twitter, they monitor the email, they monitor the dam cam, they monitor various different feeds, and then when a question comes through that's relevant to what we're seeing, they will ask it, especially if you happen to be a new viewer and you've taken the time to get hold of us. So thank you very much for that, Jarek. There's nothing mystical about it. Oh, they then read it through, of course, into my ear via this earpiece here. And yeah, that's how it's done. It's not particularly complex. It's quite complicated to get it done, but conceptually it's not very complicated. Let's go and have a little look at our favourite half-trunk herd. Hello chaps, and a hippopotamus. Do you see the hippopotamus, David? It's that very big grey thing lying in the water. Yes, very nice. I'm just going to give her a little bit of space because she's looking a little bit nervy today. I think probably because of the hippopotamus. Oh, and there's a very ropey looking warthog there. David, do you see it? Just walking off there. Shame. That's the first warthog I've seen here that's starting to look a little bit, well, like it's suffering from the drought. Shame. And the warthog looks particularly sad when they're skinny. Yeah, I lost a lot of weight, that warthog. Definitely starting to kind of lose muscle mass. Oh, look. It's Davey, if you don't mind, when you're done there, look at the little elephant here, playing over there. It's wonderful. That's so cool. And here comes Mums shouting at him now. She's just giving him a little bit of an earful, I think. It's quite sweet. I think she's obviously said to them, that's it, we've had enough here, we're going. So they all said, okay. And off they go. I love this little herd, everyone. I'm not entirely sure what the makeup is. I think it's, well, I'm sure of 3 of them. I think the female, the half-trunk female is the matriarch, well, she definitely is. I think she's got at least 2 youngsters here, the very small one and the second smallest one, and the other one may or may not be a sibling or her very first offspring. But it would make her it would have made her very young when she had that one, and probably about 13 years old, because I don't think she's much more than 20. Oh, look. You see him getting cross there? And he's getting cross because of this magnificent animal coming towards us now. We started the drive with him, and he's now coming towards the pan to have a drink. He's a really good-looking fellow, Dave. I like how beautifully camouflaged the aerial is in that shot. He's so skinny he might disappear behind it. Yes. Must be lovely to be able to lick your own nostrils, don't you think? I think this is the place to be tonight, everybody. When we go off air, I think this is going to be something to just keep open somewhere if you've got an internet TV, or perhaps you'll be travelling home from work or whatever it is. Keep the damn cam feed live, because I think you're going to see some things here tonight. I just have a feeling. Alternatively, you may just waste your money on bandwidth watching this hippopotamus doing what he's doing now. I think this giraffe might want to come and have a drink. Yeah, it's so peaceful there, isn't it? Watching them walk away. Now the giraffe, in totally typical giraffe fashion, is coming slowly closer, nervously. I'm going to find the best place to drink. I don't think he'll drink with us this close. I thought he might from that side. Let's just see what he does. Has he lost that bit of his ear there, Dave? No, it's just floppy. He's got a floppy ear. That's ridiculous. He's got a floppy ear. I don't know why I find that funny, but I do. I might take a picture of him, David. I shall send it to National Geographic for their front cover. I'm sure they will accept it. It's a classic. Got his floppy ear there. That's really quite a nice shot, I think, of them all. Oh, look at his face. He's got very short eyelashes for a giraffe, everybody. Now, I don't know what that white stuff is on his face there, but you can see he's scratched a lot of his nose off. That's really interesting. I'll tell you why it's interesting. I think what you'll find is that he's having to take risks with his eating. He's probably having to stick his face into more and more thorny places that he might not normally, and that is creating scratches and nicks on the top of his nose. That's quite interesting. And there again you can see the length of the nose, very good for heat dispersal, for panting. That ear is ridiculous. And look at the trees behind him. I think that's just such a wonderful shot. It's just very peaceful indeed, and this is what giraffes do. You see, they come to the water's edge and then they just stare, slightly gormlessly. Yes. I fear me his mind doesn't work at a tremendous speed. You can almost... Oh dear, I've just dropped my lens cap. It's like his mind is just very slowly ticking over, thinking, there is a hippopotamus. And I'm thirsty. So, should I take a step forward and No, I won't. I think I must go. While we wait and see what this indecisive giraffe is going to do, let's head across to Stef and get an update from him as the golden light of the setting sun shines upon his balding pate.
Well, we got a termite mound that's actually stopping the sun from reflecting off my balding head. Thank you, James. We got our faces stuck into a peltiforum. This is this African wattle. Now, generally, elephant don't actually feed on these plants, but we've been watching over the last week or so that elephant have been stuffing branches of peltiforums literally just into their mouths. I think I know why. A, they're quite hairy. The leaf itself has got a bit of a fur on it, or a fuzz on it. See if I can show you there, but you can see, maybe you'll be able to see on the side there that there's a fur. It's got like a fuzzy texture to it. Let's see if we can show you that. You can see that fuzziness, and I don't think that tastes very nice. If I were to put this in my mouth and chew it a little bit, I'm expecting that. Actually, no, that's not what I'm tasting. It just tastes green. It doesn't taste unpleasant. Not very tanniny. To be quite honest with you, I can't tell you why elephant don't feed on this more often. I mean, it doesn't taste distasteful. It's not particularly poisonous. It doesn't have a poison to it. The hairs that I thought would be problems are not. Well, on my lips they feel a bit bad. I mean, but not too bad. So my only other thought that I had was, if you have a look over here in this tree, I'm going to go around the other side here and climb into it for you as much as I can. But you'll notice that where this elephant broke off these sticks here and here, the branches haven't coppiced nicely. The actual entire branch has died. And I think that these elephants know what trees they kill with breaking. I think that these trees are very prone to dying when they break. And a weeping wattle has quite a spreading crown, almost like an umbrella thorn tree. It has a wide crown that enjoys drooping branches, and I think the elephant know that to break these trees would be to kill the tree. I know that sounds bizarre when you have a look at this holocaust of a bush that is around us at the moment, but for the majority, the trees that the elephants push over, the small trees that they break, are all combretums. And every bush that you're looking at here, pretty much barring the trees, is being coppiced. Meaning, when you break it, when you break one branch, two grow. And we break that branch, another two grow. You push it over, the tree just literally goes like this and starts growing from the side. I want to see if I can show you some of that here, some examples of it here. Here we go. Here you can see that this combretum was pushed over. You can absolutely see that. But what you can have a look at as well is the fact that it's just grown vertical branches. And that is just the one massively awesome thing about these combretums, is that they just seem to have this understanding of an elephant. So rather than fighting elephant, they just learned how to deal with it. Where that peltiforum, not. You break a branch of a peltiforum, it's very difficult. That branch sort of dies there. I don't know. It's a shot in the dark, I think, as to why they've only now started to feed on peltiforums. This creeper's had a dramatic effect on the wood of that tree. It's fantastic. Finding all these things at the moment. Very nice. You got us wandering through this parkland. Karen, you've asked me about any trees that produce pods here that utilize animals to distribute them. We have a couple of trees with pods out here. In actual fact, that peltiforum that I just showed you now has a pod on it. We've got the shambok pod out here. We've also got all the mahoganies, the Natal mahogany and the pod mahogany. All have pods with seeds on them. Some of them have winged seeds. Other of them have quite a fatty deposit on the top of the seed that allows an animal a treat if it takes it away, a smaller animal, to hoard it, for instance. So So many trees out here have pods. I'm thinking of what else has a pod out here that we can think of. The combretums, no, they don't have a pod. They have a winged seed that is used, that water distributes, called a samara, but not a pod like you're asking me. Yeah, and that's about that actually. Come and have a look here. This is a sign that an elephant has been here. Now, although there's no footprint here, there's no feeding activity, there's nothing else. There's this wet patch of sand from an elephant urinating on this particular spot. And I scratched it with my stick to see how wet it actually is. It's not that bad. Oh, but it is so potent. I think it's because this urine is just having all of the water basically drained out of it, and it's just leaving this ultra concentrated urine. Oh man, that's hardcore. Wow. I don't quite know what to... It's not a urine-y smell, it's a very sharp, not ammonia, it's a sharp green smell, if I can... It's not like any domestic animal I've ever smelled before in my life. No, I don't know what that smells like, and I need to stop smelling it at the moment. It's starting to make my eyes tear a little bit. And I'm going to use the last little bit of my water to wash my hand off as well from that thing. But on that note, I think we'll send you across to James for an update. Have you smelled?
James for an update.
We are live. Now, David,
James.
you're hungry, aren't you?
Very.
Good. Look what I found you. Now, I said to you a while back, everybody, that I was going to try and eat one of these before they'd flowered. It is a knobthorn flower. They will eventually look like that sort of bottle brush, very small bottle brush, maybe test tube brush. And I saw the monkeys eating them, so I was wondering what they're going to taste like. There you are, David.
James. Well, you have to eat it with me.
Yes. Delicious. What does it taste like?
Very dry.
Dry.
Yes.
Yes. It's not bad. It's not delicious. It's not sweet. But actually, it's really not bad. Actually, it is bad. It's horrible. Look, if I was a desperate monkey, I might eat one. Otherwise, no. Now, just a reminder, if you are a young person watching, even if you're an old person watching, please do not go into the wilderness and start eating things unless you know exactly what they are and the effects that they will have on you. Yeah, it's really important that, all jokes aside, you can do yourself some tremendous harm if you just go into the bush and start tasting things like I do out here. I only do it to plants I know, and I always give it to the cameraman first to see if he dies first. That's also very important. You must take a friend out, someone less important than you. I'm obviously being tremendously arrogant now. Take someone whose life you value less than your own, give them something to eat. I'm going to stop now. Alright, we're going round to the Gallagher waterhole, and we're hopefully going to find the lions eating some of those buffalo there. Let's go and see. The sun is setting in a blaze of glorious l'orange and copper, And you can see there it is setting in amongst the lightning conductors of Vuatela camp. The best value bed in all the Sabi sand. Why do I say that? Well, because it is. You have the most amazing traversing here. Buffelshoek, Torchwood, Vuatela, Cheetah Plains. And it's, I think, just one of the best value places you can come. Very nice, David. We'll just watch it drop fully into the netting there. And thank you to those of you who thought I was amusing eating that flower. To those of you who were offended by my spitting and coughing and spluttering, I apologize. That kind of slapstick is not for everybody. There we are. Well done, David. Very beautiful. Whenever I give it to the cameraman, of course, and I pretend to eat it in front of him, I forget, of course, that he is watching me through his viewfinder, so it is impossible to do something without him knowing. Always watching. Now, there are two duiker running around through here. They looked like they were chasing each other. One of them was very, very dark. Oh. Well, there's a Nyala there as well. That wasn't what they were running from. I suspect they ran through here. Oh, there's the duiker. Can you see it there, Dave? How cool is that? Doesn't think we can see her. Yes, you. Yes. Yes, you. No, couldn't be. Yes. Off you go then. Don't turn your back on me. Yes, you. Exactly. And what are you doing here? Up to no good, aren't you? Lovely piece of road this, Dave. Hello, River Age 9. Now, there's a very good question from you. You say, have I ever got sick from something that I've eaten in the bush? Not that I'm aware of, River. You say, what if something pooped or peed on it? Well, that is definitely a danger. But remember that, well, there are a few things about that. The first thing is that I could see that nothing had pooped or peed on that flower, unless it had been an insect, in which case I wouldn't have worried too much, because much of the food that we eat, of course, has been pollinated by insects and pooped and peed upon by them. So any time you go into the wild and you pick a piece of wild fruit, or you go to a tree and you pick a piece of fruit from that, something's going to have relieved itself on there, but that doesn't really harm us, you know. I'm pretty sure a lion or a leopard wouldn't have got up that high, but it is a consideration, River, and so yes, you should be very careful of that, and you should perhaps clean these things off before you eat them. But remember, River, the big thing is that when you buy a piece of fruit, for example, from the store, you know, even unless the store is a sort of very certified organic store, you can be sure that whatever you're putting in your mouth, if you don't wash that piece of fruit, is far worse than anything that we can get out here and to put in our mouths. So even if it was a bit of insect poop or pee, or maybe a bird has come past and had a bit of a peck at it, that's far better for you than some of the chemicals that we as human beings spray on our own food. So it's something to just bear in mind. But yes, you're absolutely right, you must be careful of that sort of thing. Absolutely, otherwise you can get sick. I mercifully have only been sick from food that has been, well, that I've bought mainly. I don't have a very exotic taste, so I'm quite careful about what I eat. And we all know that horrible feeling in the night when you wake up, you're just uncomfortable and you know something you've eaten ain't agreed with your body. And it's gonna come out. Now I can smell elephant, which is not surprising given that there is More elephant dung than you can shake a stick at around here. The Gallagher pan just round the corner. David, are you ready for the sight that is going to behold us? 5 Nkahuma lionesses, 8 cubs, or there's nothing there, is there, Dave? There's nothing at all there. It is devoid of any life. How very disappointing. I thought at least those buffalo would have hung around. Oh well. We'll have to find something else to eat here, David. There's some Impala and a Drongo who've just had a drink. What is that Impala eating there on the right? I thought he was eating that elephant dung for a second there, but I don't think he is. They will. Just about all the grazers and browsers out here in severe drought will eat elephant dung. Them and Stef Winterboer, of course. Now, I was allowed to make that quip about Stef's balding pate, of course, because I have one myself. Those who have not got a balding pate may not make jokes about others who do. It's very non-you, David. So with your lovely, luscious, curling locks, don't ever let me hear you make a joke about a balding pate. And for those of you who are wondering, this has got nothing to do with Impala. David's hair, of course, is a bit like a... I'm trying to think, Howard Stern, I suppose, would be the most accurate description of David's haircut. Right, across to Stef. And let's find out an update from him. I don't think he's got too long left before he has to go home.
Quite right, we just got that sort of peachy sky that's come across the horizon there, and we are making our way slowly back to an area that we know won't kill us, which will be in the DRC. But we've come across one of these very special elephant midday rest stops here, and that's just in this Tamboti thicket in front of us. And let's go spend some time in this place. I love these. Williams asked the inevitable, how do I think elephant dung got into the tree? I'm going to have to confess this one because there's no other way. I kicked it there. I was seeing if we could introduce a new type of sport to our itinerary of games, and I kicked it there. Now I suppose Williams made me do something here that I'm going to have to show you as well. So this was the unfortunate, and I just launched it into the tree. That one broke a little bit, and it just got stuck. Gone out of the picture, but thank you, Viam. Let's have a look over here. This is just one of those very special spots where elephants like to spend the heat of the day. They like the cover of tambutis, and then because tambutis are quite poisonous, they are retardant to insects. So these areas are not blessedly free, but definitely have fewer elephant in than what they'd normally have. And here we can actually see the evidence of elephant that spent the afternoon here. This is very fresh urine from an elephant, and you can even see the dung, which hasn't break it open there. You can see definitely wet enough to get a glass and a half of juice out of it, but just have a look at how this particular dung is. A bit of water. That's just crazy. It happened today. Nice. So lunchtime today, elephant would have been standing underneath this canopy of tambuti, standing in the shade, and you can see that it's something that has been practiced here probably for generations. That's lovely. Alright, let's carry on going. James, good evening all the way from Brighton in the UK, I think. You've just asked me if I've ever eaten a mongongo nut that's passed through an elephant. I can't say that I have, James. I've never heard of the mongongo nut at all in my life before. And I'm wondering if you're chuckling loud into your beer at the moment at the pub with all your mates after having asked me that. So no, I haven't eaten a mongongo nut that's passed through an elephant's elementary canal at all. There are a couple of seeds out here that actually need to be passed through have a look here. Talking about things that have passed through an elephant's gut. This definitely has eaten whatever came through an elephant's gut. This is what's left after a dung beetle has rolled the dung ball, laid its egg inside. The egg is hatched and the larvae has eaten the dung ball. And this was found by probably a mongoose or by a honey badger, who then bit open the side of the dung ball to eat the larvae before he came out as a full-on dung. Ate of it, but unfortunately was snatched out before its time.
My message was, Stef's frozen, I'm coming to you, you're live, you're live. I don't think Stef has actually genuinely frozen. That would not be possible on a day like today. I think his camera has frozen would be a more accurate way of describing it. When you've got to the stage of kicking a dung ball against a tree, it is evidence, as I was saying to David, that things have got a little difficult out here. And I was remembering this time last year, and it is, while it's excellent vegetation for finding things because you can see through it, the little things are more difficult to find because of course there's no moisture, so there are very few beetles and butterflies and little flowers in the ground and termites and ants and spiders and little praying mantids and various other things like that. And so one must resort to poisoning one's cameraman sometime, and also kicking elephant dung against a tree. It was a very good game that was. Hello Gracie, age 9. You say I'm very funny today, and thank you for making you laugh. Gracie, if I can just make you laugh once a day, I will consider my job well done. So I'm glad you've had a laugh. I will go home happy tonight that you have had a laugh, either at my expense or at David's expense, hopefully, or indeed just with us as we've giggled our way through this very entertaining afternoon. I was trying to think of highlights of the drive, and I think the rather nasty, facetious answer I gave about being plugged into the matrix via this wire was probably a highlight. I do apologize if you took me seriously for any second. You never know what people will believe. Rob, you say, have I improved on drawing a hippo yet? For those of you who don't know, Rob clearly was a poor victim of the TV practice show that we did last. When was it, David? It must have been just before Father's Day weekend, and I drew a hippopotamus, which I can't draw, you see, and the hippopotamus was quite the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my life, and I became paralytic with laughter at my own drawing skill. Rob, for your edification and great joy, I am going to find a patch of sand here, and I will demonstrate to you that my drawing skills have not improved one jot. And indeed, I have given up trying to improve my drawing skills because they have been terrible since the day I could hold a crayon. I never once completed a colouring in book, mainly because I just couldn't stay in the lines. My mother was deeply frustrated by this. And indeed, I think my father used to ask me to practice my writing when I was on holiday. Something moved in the bushes here, David. Something infinitely more interesting than my reminiscences about my handwriting. It was indeed, David, a crested francolin. There you see it there. Our cup hath 2 drops therein. Just listen to them. And it's just the little chatting that they do to each other at this time of the day. They're so sweet. And they'll go up into the trees to roost tonight. And hopefully make it through the darkness and into the light the next day. These ground birds, if you take the time to look at their plumage, they really are spectacular. The detail and the incredible way in which they are hidden amongst the leaf litter. Missing feathers there, David.
Looks like it.
It does, doesn't it? Wonder what happened there. It might be why he's going ba 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 ba. There we go. Come on, Rusty. Nearly there. Debbie in Vancouver, very good question. You say, when are the hornbills going to start to nest? And I then missed the second part of your question because I thought it was nearly finished. But basically, I think it will be very soon, and I've started to see a few of them. Did you get it? Sorry, Kirst. Try again. Oh, I see. Walled up in a tree. It's such an interesting method. I agree. Right. I will explain that a little bit later. Now, David, do you see my artistic light there?
Oh, yes.
That is my canvas in which I am going to draw a hippopotamus. Now, when one is drawing, everybody, it is very important that you have a sharp stylus, such as this one, perfectly shaped. David, do you see the bottom of my canvas here?
I do.
One must draw an outline. One must clean out any extraneous bits and pieces. Right, now I shall start with the hippo. I shall try and draw it in relief so that you can see it from where you are. Right, so a hippo's nose starts like that, goes along to its head like that, then it has its eyes, then it has its ears, and then its body goes along like that. And you see I've run out of space here, so I'm going to have to go out the lines. And basically that's what it looks like. That's actually not too bad, really. Then it's got a mouth like that, of course. This one's got its mouth open. Then it has very big teeth, of course. Very nice. And you see the teeth, David?
Yes, James.
They also have whiskers like this. And off the top of the nose. Nice. And of legs, of course. We mustn't forget the legs. Sort of squarish type legs. Here we go. Last time I got shouted at because I only put 2 legs on my hippo. This one has 4. And a tail. The tail is like a paddle. There we are. And that, everybody, is how best to draw a hippopotamus. What do you think, David?
Beautiful.
It is quite astounding, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes. Very good. It may be better than the last one, actually. Now, going back to the hornbills and their nesting, I'm going to take you past a place where the hornbills nest. It's just up here. I'm not sure how much time we have left. Thank you, it was very lovely. Oh dear. Elephants seem to have put a plank in the road there. There's a hornbill nest just up ahead. And while we get there, let's quickly go across to Stef. He's got some impala for you.
We have got some impala actually, and it's a massive herd of impala. It's actually the herd of impala that you see from time to time on quarantine clearings. But in this particular sense, we're getting up to them and they allow us to get pretty close. And I think, let's see how close we can get. Impala don't enjoy you walking straight at them. But just to give how big this herd is, I probably think it's in the region of about 100 impala easily. Let's see if VM can show you where they are, but they're literally everywhere. Everywhere that I can look at the moment, I'm just seeing impala in an arc, probably 160 degrees or so around us. Let's take a walk a little bit closer, just to get past the screen of bushes. What you don't want to do is give one a fright, because as you give one a fright, it will bounce around. People, I think, are used to hearing people around our camp. There shouldn't be too difficult for us to get a little bit closer. You can see pretty much the whole herd. What's weird is they're walking away from quarantine clearings. They're not actually walking to quarantine. I can only imagine it is because the bush is so open at the moment that they feel that nothing will be able to sneak up on them. Or they're needing food, so they've gone to have a drink and they're needing to actually feed at night time to keep those energy levels up. Incredible. Right, it's getting to that time of the night where those hairs on the back of my neck are starting to prickle and stickle. And it is time that we head on back to the DRC, but we will catch up with you tomorrow. So from myself and VM, we just want to say thank you very much for joining us on the walk this afternoon. Once again, thank you for all your support, thank you for your questions and your comments, and thank you for prematurely for joining us again tomorrow. So from myself, Stef and VM, cheers, have a good night.
This is a very zen place to be sitting for the last part of the evening, the northeasterly breeze blowing into my right ear. Now over there is a hornbill's nest. And that hornbill's nest was occupied by, I think it was red-billed hornbills. And what they do, for those of you who don't know, is the female will go into that hole. It doesn't look like much of a hole, but she'll go in there. She'll shed all of her feathers till she's completely naked, and then she'll lay her eggs on those feathers. And while she's in there, the male will board her up. So basically he'll make her a prisoner, if you like, with mud and feces and various other things. And then her feathers will grow while she incubates, and he will feed her through a little hole that he creates there. Then when the eggs hatch, what she will do is dig her way out. She'll have sufficient feathering back on to be able to fly. She won't have a long tail, so you can see when they come out of the nest because they have a short tail. And then they will, male and female will board it up, and they'll feed the chicks through the sort of mud hole, or the mud casing that they will make over the hole. And that's how hornbills get on with the breeding process. So I've seen a few of them investigating holes, but we're going to see more and more of that as we go into the breeding season for most birds. Some birds, of course, do breed during the winter, vultures being a notable example. Right, we'll ease our way around home. Hello, Red. You want to know what we do after a stream? Do we have a sort of debriefing of sorts? Sometimes on Tuesdays and Fridays we have a debriefing of the week's kind of thing. So where we've made a mess, Kirsten or Louise or Jerry will make a thing, and we'll all go and watch it, and we'll shout at each other and tell each other how useless we think we are. No, it's not really like that. It's positive and negative. We don't, in the evenings we tend not to. In the mornings there is a report that's written with suggestions and comments about what was good and what was bad, and try this and don't try that again, ever, on pain of death. I get quite a few of those. And yeah, that's how it's basically done. But the feedback is really very important, because it really does help us to improve something that nobody else does. You know, it's all very well doing one show or one documentary, but to do this continuously, I think the product really has to evolve constantly, and so that feedback that we give each other is absolutely vital. Right, no, I don't see anything further in the way of predators, and I would keep looking at the Djuma Dam cam. Thank you, James Richard, very much. You say you think my hippo drawing skills have improved slightly. I think they have, and I'll tell you why I think they have. I think they've improved because this time I added a tail, and I don't think I did last time. Everything else, of course, was proportionately immaculate, but I don't think that I added a tail last time, and so the addition of the tail definitely made this a masterpiece. It is only a pity that it is on the sand, not on a piece of paper, and therefore cannot be sold for millions of dollars. One last look at quarantine to see where the lions are, or the leopards, neither of which have been confiding to me today. We might actually just drive quite quickly and have one last look at the pan. We've only got a minute left, everybody. Come with me. I just want to have one last look there, just to make sure that nothing is coming towards it. Hold on, David. Don't fall off. Not at this juncture. We've only got 40 seconds left. Nearly there. Oh, 30 seconds left, everybody. While I do this, let me just say to you, thank you very much for joining us during the course of this drive, for your comments and questions. It's always a joy, especially on a quiet drive like this. Thank you, David, for your efforts. Very little thanks to Brent, Leo, Smith and Brian for their afternoon off, Wendy for braking, and of course a big thanks to Stef. Lovely to have him back on foot with the Rexon being filmed by the diminutive Viam Dorenbrach. There is nothing there at the pan. We will see you tomorrow at 6 o'clock in the morning. I hope you stay safe and happy wherever you are. Bye-bye.